Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to Heart of a Hobbit here on the LOTRO Twitch channel, twitch.tv/LOTRO stream. So I'm your host, Little Redhead, and I'll be taking you through something here in Middle Earth today. We're hanging out, excuse me, in the Shire homesteads because that's always a cool place to be. I moved him around. So this has been an afternoon of cat hijinks with Casper giving me some last minute cleanup, and then I sat down, created a divot in my lap, and Kato immediately took possession of that and is making biscuits with her claws against my skin. So we'll be working through that. And then Casper walked across my keyboard and it stopped working. So we're back on track now, as far as I can tell. I had logged out and logged back in. This is why it's good to start a few minutes before you start, I guess. So we are here on the Peregrine server, as you can see up there. Yeah, all of the changes and movement from the 32-bit servers over to the 64-bit servers has, as far as I can tell, been successfully completed by those of us in the not so hasty kinship that we were previously located over on Treebeard. So now we're over here, and yeah, just chilling out in our little Hobbit homestead most of the time. Now, I moved most of my characters over to Meriadoc, but that's the EU side. And so any of my characters that were still on the US servers came to Peregrine, so that's where we are here. But Treebeard, we had the choice. We could send them to either US side or EU side. But still, I was pretty much sending my characters to, in the end, it turned out I sent basically everybody to either Peregrine or Meriadoc. So we went to Merry or Pippin. That's where all my characters are, and given that I spent a lot of time doing, you know, silly, fun, hobbity type stuff, it seems like the place to be. Well, hello. There's a Casper kneading the couch behind me. There's a blanket on this couch in order to protect the couch. It's a blanket I don't care about, and the cats seem to like it, so we put that there so he can knead to his heart's content, and then he lays down there. So, yes, it's a cat's world, and we just live in it. But you know what? Most of the time, I'm pretty okay with that. So some of the fun things about moving characters from all these different places is that all the currencies I had have combined. And then, for example, all the things I had in my wardrobe weren't the same from one server to the next. What's going on here? Oh, we're just slow. Okay. I have heard that things are a bit slow on the servers right now, and I believe they're doing some work on that. But I don't know where the status is on that. I didn't actually look it up before coming on, so my apologies there. But yeah, so I had wardrobe items on multiple servers from different things. And so sometimes, hi buddy, he is purring up a storm here. He has been Mr. Cuddly for the last, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Hi buddy, thanks. Hang on. Maybe I better save my keyboard so this doesn't happen again. Hi. You just want to be front and center all of a sudden. I'm not sure what's going on. Here, we're just going to set this down for a minute. Somewhere where maybe you won't step on it. So this is Casper. And this is the head of Casper. This is the purring head of Casper. Hi, sneakies. I can't actually see the camera. There we go. And then Kato is curled up on my lap, although her eyes are open, I guess, because Casper was walking around right above her. Yes. And Kathy B says, and mine's a dog's world. Indeed. Yep. Mine's a cat's world, and I just live in it. There we go. All right. He's curling up on the other side of the couch. Other end of the couch, I should say. I have one end of the couch. I have this end of the couch, and then the cats have the other side of the couch, and the back of the couch too, of course. I mean, you know, I'm not using it, so why not? Yeah, I did have a chair next to my desk. But they kept really encroaching and more on my space to the point where they were taking it over. I'm like, I need to sit here too. So I went back to my couch solution from when we first moved in, and or first, yeah, anyway. And oh my gosh, they have been so happy. They are just like every day they're on this couch with me. So yeah, apparently we're just gonna keep this rolling. So hi, Ponton, good to see you as well. Ponton says hello. So yeah, anyway, so I am gonna open up the new coffer at some point, but wanted to kind of give folks a chance to get a chance to come in and get settled and all of that, and then I'll show you what all we got, you know, out of that jaunty coffer. So yes, Cafe B says same here with that couch sharing. I know, right? I thought I would get like just have a chair. I thought about getting an ergonomic chair that would be, you know, good for me, healthy, that sort of thing. No. Now, what I have done is the couch was starting to get a little squishy. So we had like a wardrobe that was being taken apart for due to some construction, and it was an IKEA wardrobe that was really super cheap. It was like 79 euros or something. It wasn't much. It was not intended to survive lots of changes in its life. So we were understanding it was going to come apart. So I have a board from it. So it's not too terribly thick, but it's strong enough that it's like, you know, spread out over the weight is spread out over the board. So I have that underneath the cushion, and it's given me a great, perfect support for me. Makes sleeping on the couch not as comfortable as it used to be, but yeah, but it does provide me with some stability and some firmness in the couch, what I was looking for. I am just amazed. We are getting rain again. It's been like this for definitely yesterday and today. I'm trying to remember if it was like this. Oh yeah, it has been off and on for a couple of other days too. So so I have an electric bike now. We're just totally going off like LOTRO for the moment. I have an electric bike now, which is fantastic because it allows me to really get around a lot further. And so I do some volunteering that's like 2 kilometers away. And it's so funny. So if I'm in the US, I can tell you how far something is in mileage because I'm so used to doing that distance in miles from like a specific spot to another specific spot. Or I can tell you time. Like I can say, oh yeah, to get from where we lived to like my mom's house, it's like an hour and a half. Doesn't matter the distance because it's all about what the traffic's gonna be like, and the traffic was pretty consistent at that point. So it'd be like, okay, that's an hour and a half to my mom's house, you know, that sort of thing. But here, yeah, I'm in kilometers. So if I've gotten to know how far something is in kilometers, I am like, I don't know what that is in miles. I haven't had to check that out. So I know that I ride 2 kilometers on my bike to go do volunteering. And then I do the volunteering, which is pretty relaxing in general. It's not physically taxing. And that's like kind of the point. Because well, I was never in great shape. Like I was never an athlete. But I've been in better shape in sometimes in my life than others. And so I had gotten to a point where I was pretty not in good shape. Very much not in good shape. Around 2020-ish. And so the last few years have been an effort to basically make that go back on the upswing, you know, and you know, get stronger, more endurance, less pain, like all these various different things, right? So now I have an electric bike as part of this kind of process in my mind. So I can now get around because I don't drive. We don't have a car here, and we don't need a car. We just, you know, take the bus or bicycle everywhere. So now I can go 2 kilometers and then 2 kilometers back. Like, cool, that's my range. But then I have like a meeting that I go to sometimes with somebody, and it is like once a month, and it's about 5.5 kilometers away. So now I know, oh, okay, I can go 5.5 kilometers, you know, sit down for a little bit, whatever, and then do 5.5 kilometers back. All right. So I had one of those meetings yesterday, and it was kind of rainy, but I was like, I've got my raincoat, I'm good. And it was also super windy. Like I was on the bike, even in town, I was on the bike and it was like blowing me. Like it was gusty, so so you're like going along, and then all of a sudden, it's just like da da da, and you're like whoa, and it's like oh my gosh. So that was a little scary. I know, Kato's eyes just got really big. So that was a little scary for me, and especially at one point because there's a bridge to get to that meeting that you go over because there's a river, and so they've got this kind of high bridge that goes over it, and they, consolidate everything. So there's a highway that uses that bridge, and then the bike lane path comes along, and then they have a bike path then that goes on the same bridge on the side. But you've got these cars like zhong, 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 zhong. There's like a barrier and stuff, but it's like, they're right there. So I grab my headphones and I put them on before I go across the bridge because it's so noisy. And that helps. So going across the bridge to get there, it was like so windy and it was like pushing me around. It was crazy. So I got over, did the meeting, and I was on my way back, and we were like, oh, hey, it's not raining. This is awesome. And so I like started to go, and I wasn't even out the parking lot, and it just opened up, just, and I got soaked. I'm sorry, baby. I got soaked right at that moment. But I'm like, well, it's not going to get any better just sitting here, right? And there was no overpass to sit under or anything like that. So I was like, I'm just going. We're just going. So I got up, and then by the time I was like cresting the bridge, it had actually calmed down quite a bit. So that was nice. And then by the time I got off the bridge and was making my way home, the wind was still very strong. And so I'm like hunched over, just trying to like go, because I was going into the wind at this point. It's like, and I'm like, oh. But by the time I got home, my pants were dry because the wind had blown them dry. It was a crazy day. So that's what it's been like recently. So then today, yeah, it's like it'll be just chill and calm for a minute. Maybe get a few little raindrops, and then like all of a sudden it's like noisy because it's raining so hard. So that's what was just happening right now. It was definitely caught my attention. Anyway, so I didn't even close the curtains because we have, windows here, and I didn't close the curtains for the stream because I'm like, there's no way I'm getting direct sunlight today. But you never know because I'm seeing like little breaks in the clouds, so it's possible. Yes, it is. It's possible we'll get some sunlight in here today. Anyway, all right. So that's a day in the life of Little Redhead for you. So what's going on over here? Yeah, so in combining to Peregrine, that was all of the US servers. And I had characters on Crick Hollow, Brandywine. Well, so I had wardrobes then also coming from Crick Hollow, Brandywine. Evernight was on the UK side, or EU side. Who else was US? Oh, Landreval, of course. I had a lot of characters on Landreval. So I had a lot of wardrobe going on there too. And then Treebeard. And so when I'm out questing, sometimes you just run across something that you're like, oh, this is super cute. I really like this. I feel like I want to keep this in my wardrobe, right? So I throw it in my wardrobe, and so what I ended up doing is I had to go and look. So when you're looking at the wardrobe, this is if you are a user of the wardrobe. And not everybody is, but just kind of like to give you an overview, if you don't use the wardrobe, you can have what you're looking for in the type set to all, which is what most of the time I leave it at. But you can have it just show you, you can filter it to just show you very specific categories. And you can only do one category at a time though. But you can look at like the armor back or armor feet. So these are all things, the things that start with armor, that are prefixed with armor, those are things that you're finding like out on landscape. So like the starter hunter outfit, or let me scooch this. We'll scooch one of these. Or this is the starter. My mouse has been acting up. My apologies. Let me move that over there. I'm probably going to get a new mouse here within the next month probably, because this thing is being goofy. But anyway, that's like the starter Bjorning outfit, the other starter Bjorning outfit. That I got from a quest, so that's why it's sitting in there. Also quest, also quest. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that one. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. That is part of a hunter set that I picked up on my elf at one point. And I was like, it looks so cool that I want to keep it in my wardrobe. In fact, hang on a second. Nenu. Okay, let me see if I can pull up the rest of that. Nenu. Yeah, okay, so here's the rest of that outfit. Check that. I mean, it looks really good on an elf too. But I just thought this is so cool. So I put it in my wardrobe, right? But now I have all this stuff in my wardrobe and I ran out of room. Like it was sitting at like 575 out of 410. So I had to do something about it. So that's where my low-hanging fruit is, what I've discovered and what I don't wear. Hang on, Sneaky says, I had a few tunes spread out over the servers so I could get to some of the music fests going on. Exactly. I tried to keep the same look for all my sneakies so I look the same no matter which server I'm on. Right, yeah, yeah. Now that makes sense. My main character was Adamantia, and so I had an Adamantia on all the servers. But I didn't actually quest with her. Sometimes I would just make an Adamantia so I could go to the musical stuff. So I didn't have the same outfit on every server for her, but I would end up having like something that I felt fit the character. And then I switched over to Rosenbloom being my main character, and she has a slightly different look than Adamantia, but it's similar enough that I can use a lot of the same pieces and just do a different dye color or mix and match them up a little bit differently. But I hadn't gotten around to making a Rosenbloom on every server, and I certainly hadn't been questing on every server with my Rosenbloom. So what I ended up having in my wardrobe usually would be like, I'd start on a server. So like, for example, I started on Brandywine. That was the first server I was on. And that's where we were questing. And so we would come across something and I'd be like, oh, that helmet looks really cool. I've probably gotten rid of all of these by now, but let's just see. Yeah, I went ahead and had to sort through pretty hard here. But I had like some wild looking hats. Like, you know, there's that one that looks kind of like, it's like straight up and round and it's got like accents colors that go around in solid stripes, and it reminds me of like a carousel. Like if you put a curtain around a carousel, that's kind of what it reminds me of, and it's got like the pointy top. So I had like that one in my wardrobe, and then yeah, like all sorts of crazy stuff in my wardrobe because I'd run across something in a, you know, in questing, and I'd be like, oh, that's kind of interesting looking, maybe I'll wear that someday. So I would throw it in my wardrobe. Well, so that then after, but that was always usually, I started off on Brandywine playing a dwarf, and then I was playing an elf, and then I kind of started playing more over on a Nor, and there I was playing a high elf, I think, and so that's a whole bunch of different wardrobe stuff for her, and then but also festival stuff. I was always collecting the festival stuff. And then so then I moved into playing a Hobbit, and I really mostly vacillate between either being a Hobbit or a High Elf since then. So what I realized is if I have stuff in my wardrobe and a Hobbit's not going to wear it, then it needs to be something that my High Elves are going to wear, or my Elves are going to wear. So for example, I had a bunch of shoes. So let's see, feet. Well, okay, I got rid of most of them. You can't see it because she's wearing a dress. But, oh, whoops, I didn't mean to close that. So what I had to do was I realized I had all these shoes in my wardrobe, and I was like, okay, I'm like going through my wardrobe one thing at a time and like looking at it for each of my characters. Or, you know, using my character to, and like, click on this, click on this, click on this. How does this look? How does this look? Like, like doing this, you know, and then, okay, what about that one? What about that one? What about that one? And just, you know, kind of going through all the different things that are in my wardrobe. And I'm like, okay, I can't do the shoes with a Hobbit because my Hobbits never wear shoes. So that's not even worth it. So these are all elf shoes. So I realized that my lowest hanging fruit was things that had that prefix of armor because they were usually landscape. And I really have a preference, it appears, to wear things that come from the festivals. And then I just do stuff with them. So that was step one of the low hanging fruit. Sneaky says, I wear the sun hat, the pointy straw hat, and pipe stuck in the headband. Oh, I love that one. I think that's a Goodies. Let me see. Oh, we can't pull it up that way because I think it has an accent over the A. But let's see. Head. Yeah, head. Or is it Banegarb? No, Banegarb. I like this one too. I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't really see it from there. Has like a little star and a moon and like a different star on it. So I like that one. Scholar's hat has the pipe stuck in it. I think though there's one called a Goodies hat. Yeah, and it's the same one. Because that one you can get in Moria. And so I would often be like really excited when I got that one. So yeah, here's another place where I really should I have room to get rid of something because the scholar's hat and the Gootie's hat, I believe, are exactly the same. Yep, just different colors. Okay, so scholar's hat I currently have in indigo. A Gootie's hat I have in Avon Bloom, Imladris Fallen Leaf, navy, red, and rose. Yeah, so the scholar's hat's gonna go, sorry. So if you're trying to remove stuff from your wardrobe to make room, for example, you have it clicked on the thing that you want to get rid of. You don't have to have it in preview. Just click on the thing in your wardrobe. Let me scooch this over a smidge. And then click right here on remove item. Now it's going to remove it and any dyes you have added to it. So it's going to be completely gone. So when you click on that, it's going to come up and it's going to tell you that. So this will permanently remove the item and all color variants from your wardrobe. If you no longer have the item in your inventory, you will not be able to return it to the wardrobe, asterisk, unless you acquire it again and put it in your wardrobe again. Yes, okay. So and then it says, are you sure you want to remove the scholar's hat? So it tells you which one you're doing in case you clicked on something you didn't mean to. So I'm going to say yes. So yay, I have another space in my wardrobe. Because yeah, that Aguti's hat is the one I'll remember the name of it. I won't remember the name of it as the scholar's hat. Which one's Ian's first helm? Oh, this one cracks me up. It's like this floppy hat. I still haven't had occasion to wear it, I don't think. But I just think it's so cute. So I think I'm going to keep it for now. So Ponton says I mainly wear the Sightseer's set if I can get it on servers. Oh, yes, you do wear the Sightseer's set. That's the one that looks like jeans and like a jacket and a shirt, like a kind of like a plaid shirt, right? Is that the one? I don't find that that suits my character's personalities, so I don't even have that in my wardrobe. I'm pretty sure, because I've discovered that. Oh, well, I guess I do have the Sightseer's jacket and straw hat. There you go. Oh yeah, no, it's not the plaid shirt. It's the rolled up shirt. Right. But yeah, that didn't really suit what I was going for with my characters. If I'm looking for a working outfit, I have put together. Oh, I might not have it on this server because I don't role play as much on Peregrine as I do over on Mary. But what's it called? It's like overalls. It's like coverall. Yeah, it's like overalls, and then you've got like a shirt underneath it, and the shirt can be dyed, different colors. And so that's the one. It's got like a little patch on the thing. That's the one that I wear. Is it for my characters over on Mary when it's like when they're working on the farm. Like if they've just come from working on the farm, that's what they're wearing. Let me see if I have it even in my wardrobe here. Because I don't think I put it in my, I must not have put it in my wardrobe over on Treebeard. And I hadn't gotten around to dressing, because I don't, like I said, I wouldn't be role-playing so much on, the only time I was role-playing on on Peregrine, Pippin was, or sorry, on Landreval, and now Pippin, was the, like, the music festivals. And so you come there dressed in either like your finest wares or something that fits the time of year. So like if it's, you know, weather top, you know, maybe you're wearing something summery because it's in the summer, or if it's Winterfest, maybe you're wearing something, you know, cold, like, you know, bundled up because it's that, or like in Ponton's case, you wear what your character is known for wearing, because there's definitely a number of people who have a look year round, and you know, so then you know, oh, okay, that person's wearing yellow. I'll bet I know who that is. Okay, this person's wearing that. Oh, I think I know who that is. You know, so they just have that look. My character has generally gone with, well, she's in her adventuring outfit right now, actually. So this was kind of funny. I love this look. It cracks me up. So she's both like looking fancy, but also like bundled up for adventure, so you don't know, you know, like you can't see her face and stuff. That's actually a what's that thing called again? That's the fine gray company hood, and so it has the hood and the scarf part across the face together as one piece, and I think that's a lot of fun. Sneaky says, I usually go between two looks, my casual outfit and my kick butt outfit when I'm doing raids and stuff. Although I do have matching outfits to my war steed looks. Right? Like, matching to your mount is a big deal. Let me see. Oh, I moved to the Fleet Merchant's steed because I wanted something that left little marks on the ground. Wait, I thought. Oh no. Is he not leaving marks, or is we on the glitch? I can't remember. Although I think I may have moved to him because of the coloring, because I usually try to match to the outfit too. So this is one of my adventuring outfits. Here, I'll put this on real quick. Hang on. Let me get off the steed. And this is based on, actually, that is, I think it's one of the festival outfits, actually. Yeah, that's the robe of the Wed Math celebration, and then I've put it with the Summer Days hat, and then dyed them both in green coloring. And then she's got like her pickaxe and stuff like that. So that's one of her adventuring outfits. I just thought it was too cute. I haven't written over it. But then this one is one of my normal hanging out outfits. So this is the peacock dress. And then the hat, the straw sun hat with ribbon. That's what I tend to wear, is the straw sun hat with ribbon. And I do that, and I usually dye the ribbon to match the outfit. I also have, now this outfit, okay, so I was trying to figure out what's the difference between Rosenbloom and Adamantia. And so at this time, Rosenbloom had a ponytail. I've since changed Rosenbloom to have more of the chopped hair look, and it's possible I didn't fix her hair on Treebeard. So I may have to do that. So this outfit, I can't remember what I think I was just trying to see like what are the different things you could do with the gala-worthy gown. And so I think I've dyed it here like a silver or white or something. I think it's a pretty look, but it's not quite her style unless I do something different with her head, I think. This is more, you know, that kind of silly, goofy idea. Yeah, she's definitely got a ponytail. I gotta go fix her hair in a minute. And that's from the festivity tokens during the Yule Fest. You can pick up this knitted Frostbluff tunic of snowball resistance, although I don't think it actually helps you resist snowballs. And it dyes up so good. Like if you look at, here, let me put this on. If you look at the detail in that, you can see like the stitches, which is pretty neato to me. You know, let's get rid of that. There you go. So you can see like the cabling that they've done, and like the stitch definition is really good. So I love that one. And then I put the earmuffs with the carrot nose on her. I think that's funny. So anyway, yeah, that one's been one of my favorites year upon year, actually. I have a tendency to grab that one. And then this one is my new adventuring outfit. New. I mean, we're talking like 3 years now. But I really like this one. And I love that I dyed it like with the purple and lavender kind of thing. That's kind of fun. This is like a Halloween look that I did because I thought it would be funny that, oh, I'm a bear. Grr. Um, and then, wait, I went the wrong way. Um, and this is like half adventuring and half dressed up. And then this was like going down into Moria. I felt like she needed a hat. But she was still dressed up because, that's how we go. So let me go back to this one. No, I think let me go back to this one because it is summer, but it is getting close to fall. So she's going to have to go with a fall outfit pretty soon. But I think, yeah, I think I had switched to this steed to match this outfit because it's got those nice, the greens and the tones, kind of like a light jewel tone, as opposed to like a pastel. It seems to go nicely together. All right, we need to find a barber, and I think we have one at the house, at the kin house. So let's go do that real quick. Yeah. So yeah, this is not going to be like a heavy adventuring stream today. This is a pretty chilling out, hanging out kind of stream, and then we'll check out that box here in just a few minutes. I figured I'd wait till like around an hour in, so maybe another like 20 minutes or so, maybe sooner. I don't know. We'll just see when I get bored. But the cats are definitely falling asleep, so that's good. But yes, Sneakies, I'm totally with you. I have to match my mount and my outfit. There's just something about that where they gotta go together, right? Okay, so this is our kin house. It hasn't quite come back together. It's close. But okay, hairstyle. What happened to your hair, lady? No, I know what happened. I was trying to do a ponytail, and we have since changed to... So, this is Adamantia's hairstyle. That's what I use for Adamantia, which I think is super cute. But we have moved on with Rose. Wasn't that one, I don't think. I do like how we have a lot of choices, though, which is fun. There, that's it. So kind of like one tucked behind the ear and the other one not. That's her haircut. 5 changes. It's going to cost me 10 silver. I think I can manage that. Is there anything else I want to do while I'm here? Eyebrows, mouth details. We got the freckles. Gotta have that for our girls. Skin color is about right. Hair color is fine. Yeah, that's good. We'll go ahead and buy these changes. Appearance changes will cost 10 silver pieces. Are you sure? I don't know, man. Yes, that's fine. We can manage the 10 silver. That's okay. Out of my gazillions that I have for, 10 silver for a haircut, cheap. Yeah, no kidding, right? Oh my gosh. In today's economy. Yeah, it's really funny. I have not, over the course of my life, spent a lot of money on my hair, but yeah, I had fun getting it dyed recently, like May, April or May. I think it was May. I think I got it dyed in May and cut in June. So I went to one of those places where you spend more than 10 silver for a haircut. Because I've been going to a woman here in town, and she's lovely. But I think, you know how sometimes when somebody's doing something, a trade, whatever it is, whether it's carpentry, hair, whatever it is, they can get to a mental point where it's like, okay, this is my comfort zone. And so anybody who comes to me for my skills is going to get something probably within this skill set. Which is great, except for I was looking for something a little outside of what I think her comfort zone is. And we also had a little bit of a language barrier, so I don't have like the ability to be like, no, I mean a little bit more like this, using haircut words, for example. So I was getting something that wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So I was like, hey, I think I need to find somebody who's kind of like coming from a different mental perspective. And so I found somebody, and she's the one that dyed my hair. And then I was like, cool, let's try having you cut my hair. So she's still learning how to cut hair. So, it didn't quite come out like what she nor I had intended, but that's okay. Like, just because it didn't come out the way you thought it would doesn't mean it came out badly, right? Like, it was still fine. So I'm going to go back to her, but she's not working at that place anymore. She's at like a school because she's still learning. And I'm kind of excited about that though, because, okay, it's going to take me a little bit to transit there, and that'll cost some. It'll cost me more to transit there than it will to actually get the haircut. So that's kind of funny. It won't be 10 silver, but it won't be much more than that, and that's kind of fun. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I gotta confirm that I know which place it is, and then call and make an appointment, which I haven't done yet. So still working on getting confirmation on the. Do I have the right details of the place I'm contacting? So you're fine. I'm just moving around a little bit. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so over here on Pippin, I went ahead and bought the house next door because we had somebody on Treebeard who had the house next door, but he kind of isn't playing anymore, so he did not make the move with us from Treebeard, which is too bad because I enjoyed playing with him, but sometimes things happen, life and whatnot, and you go and do other things. So I went ahead and took the house next door because then I thought, hey, then I can kind of like almost make an extension of obviously with the housing rules and decorating rules, there's only so much you can do, but like I could have stuff up to here or whatever, and I could have stuff that kind of comes a little bit this way, so it kind of can blend across the two different yards. I thought that might be kind of fun. So, oh yeah, and at the last festival, I did pick up this, what's it called? Apple Picker's Party Set. And I just love it. I look at that tablecloth. It's like this gorgeous apple tree, branching out with these apples that are just so vibrant hanging off of it. And then we've got, and there's a pumpkin. I like that it's not just apples, like got a pumpkin, got some mugs, and then it also came with the tree that has all these streamers in it, and then these crates of apples and the barrels of apples. I love it. I love this set idea. I know that's something that they're kind of playing around with, is this idea, because if you were trying to set up something like this, on your own, generally, like, the table would be one thing. And each bench sometimes is a separate thing. So that's 3 hooks. Each chair would be separate, so that's 5. Plus, okay, let's pretend that the table comes as it is with the stuff on it, but the one next to it, that'd be another one, so that's 6. Plus the tree is 7. And then that barrel and that one would probably be separate, so that's 9. And let's pretend these crates come together, so it's still like 10. So this whole set would take up like 10 housing hooks normally, if you had to piecemeal make it. Well, there's only 6 housing hooks out here, so I would be, sad, and none of this other stuff would be here. So, yeah, I do like it. I like this direction that they're going. Yeah, Sneakies points out it would be so much better if you could sit in the chair. So basically, like if I'm on the chair and I go sit, I sit on the chair, like do the thing that is what sit is. Let me see if I can find another example. Okay, so when you just regular sit, I almost used some words, sit. Am I sitting? There we go. So when you just sit like as a normal female-styled hobbit, that's how you sit, with your legs kind of kicked off to the side and on your arm like that. So that's how you sit. So like if you're listening to a story and you sit your character down, like that's what they're going to do. But if you go up to a chair, oh, I know where I could go. Excuse me. Oh, I forgot I put this flooring in here. I like this flooring. Let me go to Hobbiton by Water. I know there's probably a closer chair nearby, but I know exactly where to find a chair. Outside my house, there's a chair? There was the bench, but I don't think that counts. Oops, sorry, baby. I moved something. Surprised the cat. There's probably one inside the Um, oh gosh, I just forgot the name of the inn there in Hobbiton. The ivy bush. But I do know for certain there's chairs, and I know how to sit on them at the Green Dragon. So I'm just gonna go there. Oh, with the cat on it, you do. Oh, the bench. You can sit on the bench, and it pulls it out like a chair. Oh. Well, I'm gonna go in here because, like I said, I know there's chairs in here. Okay, so if you go, oh, I'm skipping. How fun! I don't skip on over on Mary. I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, so there's chairs that are here at the table, here in the Green Dragon. So if I am like right up by with one of these chairs, maybe I'm on the ground. I forget how to sit sometimes. There, it pulls out the chair for me, and it puts me in the chair. So feet in front of me, ankles crossed, hands on my lap, kind of thing, and I'm looking around. So that's what happens when you sit on a chair. It's a totally different emote. Just like sitting on the ground, you can't do any other emotes. So if I were to like laugh or cheer or something like that, like it would move me out of the chair, see? And then I do the emote. But if I'm sitting, it will change and take the chair away from the table and put me in it. Oh, funny thing, it looks like it's actually taken this chair and put me in it, but it'll do it where you're sitting, where you're standing. It takes the chair away from the table and it sits it underneath you wherever it is that you're standing. So yeah, so that doesn't happen for the chairs in that party pickers thing. Like benches don't work. So if I usually, so if I sit on this bench, there's no bench that kicks out for me. Like it just sits me down. And if I'm like on the bench and I'm like, hey, I want to sit. Let me turn it around. Again, I do the side thing. So it's just like sitting on the ground. I'm not interacting with the furniture. The furniture just exists. I exist. We're existing side by side, but I'm not like getting an interactivity out of that. As opposed to, yeah, these chairs, you can sit in all of them. Well, you can sit at every table, I should say. There's probably people who, because I don't sit at Green Dragon as much. I'm usually standing and running around and dancing and whatnot. So there's people who could probably tell you which chairs don't work, if there are any, and like how to, like if I wanted to sit in that chair and not that chair, like what are some best practices? I don't actually know that. There are other people who are more frequent sitters than myself and could probably give you more guidance on that. But yeah, and these little stools, I don't think they count either, do they? Let me try. Oh, I'm not sure if I actually got it there. Hang on. Am I sitting? Yeah, I'm seeing the lag that people are talking about. That is a shame. Oopsie. What are doing? All right. Sit. There we go. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the stools work like the chairs. Okay, that's fun. I was going to say, I thought I'd seen people sitting on these before, but then I couldn't remember for sure. So, yeah. So there's a short little guide on what I know about sitting. And so, yes, the party picker set outside of my house now, it does not have the ability to sit in the chair as an interactive chair. You just sit on it as if you were sitting on the ground or whatever. So, yeah, it's a little different. Oh, so the skipping here. So check this out. So this is my movement. It's an emote technically. So here, let me pull this open, and this will lead us into where we're going anyway. So I have currently 4 move emotes. So there's move default where let me do that one. So I will move, like you normally do. So you're just running along, you're just doing your thing, right? Okay, so that's the default movement. I have move defender where you have a sword next to you and it just gets the sword, like a sword just shows up in your hand, and you go, or when you go running, you're running along with a sword in your hand. So kind of holding it off to the side and running. Okay. The next one I have is Mirkwood, and you're very sneaky. So, so we're sneaking our way, kind of, crouched down as we're running. Okay. And then the last one is Whimsy, which is the one I love. And I keep this on almost all the time, especially on Peregrine. Okay, so that's groovy. However, I know, I love that one is like my super favorite. And if I have the chance to use it, I absolutely do. But then, usually though, on Mary, I am walking. So, here you might be able to see the problem already. So here I am walking and, just doing my little feet moving down the road kind of thing. That's the default move, right? Walking as a defender. Again, you've got the sword to the side. It doesn't really look different, but it looks funny because you look like you're just kind of gliding a little bit. It's really funny. Mirkwood for walking definitely looks more like a sneak. So that's a really great one for like a role play situation. Because the running version of that looks very silly. But the Whimsy version, the skipping, doesn't skip when you're walking. Instead, you carry a staff. So staff shows up on your side. And I have the staff, which is fun. And then when you stop moving, that's what happens. You stand still like a Gandalf, which is cool. Gandalf is cool. Love Gandalf. But when I'm role-playing, my character does not have a staff. And to stand there without a staff and your arms are empty also looks really weird. So I tend to, so this is not the role play look I'm going for with this character. So I can't basically have the Whimsy movement style on when I'm role playing. But when I'm just adventuring and stuff, absolutely. It's fantastic. Ponton Finbury says, I have the Whimsy one too. I like it. The Whimsy one is my favorite. Absolutely. Okay, so I have a lot of stuff going on here. Let's, we're just going to shuffle this down to try and make our lives easier. Okay, so Jaunty. Let's talk about the Jaunty stuff. So, there's a new Patron's Coffer, and this means you can go and buy it in the LOTRO store. And let me pull up the information about it online as well. This is the wiki information. That's also good for me. But Jaunty. Oh, it's not showing it to me. Okay. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Once you have it, you can't buy it. You can only buy it once. And my understanding is there's no upgrade on this one. Let me pull up the LOTRO the page as well. And so if you want to follow along at home, here's the Coffer information that I'm looking at, and then the wiki. I also am a fan of the way it kind of lays it out in kind of a table formation, so you can see the differences between them. Yes, so Ponton confirms that. Yeah, also the no upgrade options. So for a lot of the expansions, what they've been doing lately is there's 3 versions. There's kind of like the basic where you get the questing and the area unlocks and all of that. So there's that basic one, so you can go and play. Then there's kind of like a middle one where you get some goodies. Maybe you get like a mount or a pet or some cosmetic items, a title. Could be any of those, could be all of those, that sort of thing. And then there's like the super duper version. And those are tending to run. Okay, so the basic one has lately been about 20 money units, dollars, euros, wherever you're at. The middle one has been around 50, and the big one has been around 100. So just kind of so you know the differences there. And the big one, they often call it, what are they calling it? Simple, enhanced, and luxuriant in this particular case. So the super duper one usually has all the same things from the other ones. And then additionally, whatever, so the mounts and pets and cosmetics, whatever you got out of the first one, the middle one, they also have then more of those or some extra things that weren't available, weren't in the middle one, and so forth. So in this case, there are, anyway, so with the expansions, what they've been doing is the basic expansion, that 20 € one. If you buy that and then you're like, oh man, I've seen those mounts and boy, those are cool. I want to get that middle one and get that cool stuff. You've been able to buy up, like upgrade to that one. So you like kind of basically pay the difference and then now you get that stuff. And then you're like, oh my gosh, actually I really wanted the big one. Okay, you pay the difference and now you get the big one. And so it just keeps you at the level, so like if the stuff you didn't get yet, you get it when you upgrade. So that's been really cool. But with this coffer, this is just kind of like bonus items, helping support the game, getting some fun goodies. And so with this, they are not having an upgrade option. So you have to pick which one you want, and then that's what you get when so you have to make a decision before you buy. So what are you going to get? So there's some titles that are coming with this Jaunty Patrons coffer set. In the simple coffer, Jaunty Voyager is a title you can get. With the enhanced coffer, you get Jaunty Voyager and the Boisterous. Hey, buddy. Casper does not come in any of these coffers. Do you, buddy? No, you don't. And then the luxuriant coffer, you get Jaunty Voyager, the Boisterous, and Bad Monkey. Because why not? Let's see. Mithril coins. You do get some mithril coins. The simple one, you get 100. If you get the enhanced one, you get 250. If you get the luxuriant one, you get 500. Now, also, let me tell you real quick. The simple coffer, you don't get any virtue experience. With the enhanced, the middle one, you do get one lesser elixir of virtue, which I think is 250, something like that. Yes. Oh no, sorry, 2,500, and virtue experience. And then with the luxuriant coffer, you get 6 lesser elixirs of virtue. Now the mithril coins and the virtue experience pots that you get, that's a once. Only one character is going to get that. So when you buy the coffer, it's going to be awarded to the character that you're on, because you buy it in the store, in the in-game store. So make sure you're on at least the server that you want to be on for where you want those mithril coins to show up and where you want that virtue experience to show up, because that's where it's going to go. And you can't move that around very easily. But all the rest of it, the titles, all the goodies, everything else goes to every single character you have from now into the future. So if you buy this coffer and then you start a brand new character, they're going to get all the stuff. So that's kind of fun. And that is kind of how, when I start a new character, I end up with 20 mounts before I even walk out the door. Because I have been accumulating these coffers and expansions that come with the mount. So then my character is like, okay, what do I want to wear today? Who do I want to ride today? So then let's go ahead and open this. So I have the Jaunty Patrons Luxuriant Coffer. That's the cosmetics coffer. Where's the, hang on, did I open it? I thought I didn't open it on this character. Patron. Oh, hang on just a second. No, this should be. What's the emote called? Actually, I could. Yeah, I don't have the Jaunty milestone emote, so I must have it here on this on here. Okay, so we'll come back to that. So one of the things you get is a cosmetics coffer. Okay, here's where some of it is. There it is. Okay. You get the Tome of the Jaunty Monkey, which teaches you to summon a mischievous monkey companion. This is all 3 levels. So let me show you my mischievous monkey. That's under pets. Monkey. So there's the Jaunty Monkey. Hello, Jaunty Monkey. And he will follow you around. So, oops. Sorry, I keep turning it the wrong way. Arr. Okay, let me scoot out of first person there. And I think we want to undo our Jaunty Monkey. Thank you. Okay, I also get a Jaunty Steed. So let's add that in. The Jaunty Steed is only in this top luxuriant coffer version. So the Jaunty Steed. Oh, it's gonna reset my steeds, man. All right, this is how much I like you all. I have to go back and pick my steed back out again. So let me move that out of the way. But, oh, isn't that pretty? So I do like how we've got like a little coffer on the side, on each side. That's so cute. So we've got some real strong reds with gold and white and some silver. So you've got some nice matching opportunities. Got a monkey on the side. I do like the cat one. Sorry, it's not actually a cat. It's a lynx. I have a lot of the lynx stuff, and so I appreciate how they've been kind of playing around with incorporating animals into some of the decoration. That's kind of fun. So, oh, and there's like a little turquoise there. So if you wanted to match with that, you could. But I think you would go with like a an outfit with red in it. That seems like that would be the way to match the best. You know, there's some browns in there too. I mean, the horse themselves or pony has some browns. There's definitely some browns in here. So there's some good. I think if you went with an outfit that's got a lot of red and maybe some brown accents in it, that would look pretty good with that guy. So from doing that Jaunty Steed, it also went ahead and awarded to me the Jaunty leg guards. Oh, sorry, the War Steed appearances. So leg guards, headpiece, accessory, comparison, and saddle. So I've got all of those too. So if I ever want to do my War Steed up with the Jaunty look, I can totally do that. All right, so what else is in here? I have a Jaunty milestone style emote. So let's check that out. Oh, I didn't really go over the milestones. Here, I'll show you that in a second. So we have Yuri Panda says hello, and welcome. Okay, so for milestones, those are also in the emotes area. So let's go over there. Yes, I do have a kitty behind me. This is Casper. Hi, sweet boy. You're being so fun. I am good. We're going through the through a special thing that's in the LOTRO store right now called the Jaunty Patrons Coffer. There's 3 different levels, and I have the biggest one, so the highest one. So I'm kind of looking at that and kind of sharing it with you guys because, so I don't know if I mentioned this when I first started, but because of the streaming work that I do here, Cord went ahead and gave me and many of the other streamers a this coffer, so that way we would have it. We could kind of, we can show it off if we want to. We can use it if we want to. We can just ignore it if we want to. Like, there's no requirement, but I figure I got this for free, and so that gives me the opportunity to share it with you guys and show you what it is, so that way you can be like, oh, this is something I'm really interested in, or you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know if this would be something for me or not. Now I know what to expect. You know what I mean? So I figure this is how I can help you guys out. Okay, so when you do a milestone, when you're using a milestone, And I went ahead and set to a default. So you click on the thing, and your character does this thing like they're reading a book, right? Okay, so we're not going to actually go anywhere. But that's like, the normal thing. The next one that came out was it Mirkwood? So here, I'll set the Mirkwood one though and show you what this one looks like. So if I were to use a milestone with the Mirkwood one, this is the one where it looks like you're blowing out a pipe and you get surrounded in a ball that looks like looks like a snake, or yeah, I don't know if you could see it that well. That's the Mirkwood one. Let's go ahead and do the Knight. That's a new one, a newer one. Came out of another recent Coffer. Oops, I meant to push the button, not to. So you put down that and then you kneel. Isn't that fun? So that's the Knight, Milestone Knight emote. Milestone Pack. This is my favorite one. This is the one I use the most because it really. Oops, I keep clicking the wrong way. Sorry, dude. Let me see if I can get away from this Hobbit, the hungry Hobbit. I'm a hungry Hobbit too, but we'll have to wait till after stream. Okay, so this one is the packing one, and so this is the one that I use all the time on my role-playing characters because it looks like they're packing up a little backpack, and then they throw it on, and then they're off. Oops, I actually did transit. I did not mean to, but that's okay. You have the backpack one too, Sneakies. I love it. I think it's so cute. And then it's kind of like, I like to think of it from a roleplay perspective, like my character packed up her bag and left, and then she pulled like a little, Hobbit sneakiness, and everybody's like, hey, where'd she go? She's like, hoo, hiding in the bushes or something. So I like that one. Okay, so Milestone Rohan. Well, I didn't mean to go anywhere. Will this do it? Nope. Oh, yes, it is. Sorry, my bad. So Milestone Rohan, yes, does look like this. Cool, this will work. It looks like you're getting on a mount, a Rohirric mount, and then you do a horn, and there's a little... I mean, it's like, it's got a whole lot going on. Let me do that one more time just to run through that again. So you're jumping on a mount, and then you blow your horn, and then like a horse and stuff shows up over your head. It's crazy. I decided not to use that when we were questing as a group because a lot of times one of our indicators as we're questing as a group is to like, oh, hey, we're mounting up and let's ride. So if you do that, people will be like, oh, I thought we were milestoning, but now we're riding up. Okay. And like, it was just too much confusion. So I don't use that one. It's kind of funny. Okay, so here's Milestone Sands. And this one came from the Luxuriant Coffer of the Sands, of course. And so here, I'll show you. You can see it in the little mini thing. So it's swirling a big ball of sand around you. Isn't that fun? Okay, so now here's something interesting. Let me go. Sorry, Kyla. Now, notice though, I'm doing a guide to right now as a hunter. This is where I would take my entire fellowship. Those milestone emotes do not apply because it only applies to your milestone, which is your individual transit, and not to guides, which take everybody in your party. I think it have the same problem is for, well, not problem, but the same situation is for wardens, right? When they take people or somebody. Anyway, I think it's the same situation where it only is your individual milestones. It doesn't work for your party thing. But okay, so here, check this out though. So the sands was like a big thing of sand. But if I do it here where there's snow, look at that. It's like snow circling around me. That's kind of cool. The snowflakes and everything. I love it. I think that's a really cool little touch that they did. Skagosi says, good evening. Good evening to you. Just kind of wandering through some of the milestones. Okay, and then Milestone Whimsy was one of the early milestone thingies that they did. And this one's gorgeous. It's a willow. I love that one. I think that's so pretty. Okay, so that's one that I used quite a lot for a while. But okay, so now we have a new milestone Jaunty, and I'm going to want to zoom in for this one. All right, so I'll do this. I'll try to do this one a couple times so you can see all the pieces of it. Okay, so we've set milestone Jaunty, and I'm just going to put that away, so hopefully you can see the whole thing. So remember, we got a monkey theme going on here. Oh, okay, so let's do that one again. Okay, so basically, just to go through. So what's the best angle on this? Maybe this one. So basically, the barrel comes out and the monkey's on top of it, and there's a map that we're looking at. And I, like, point one way, and then the monkey is like, go, and points the other way. And so we're like having this kind of, nonverbal conversation, conversation. It's really cute. Sneaky says they stole my move with the horse milestone. I used to always be on my war steed, hit the regular milestone travel, and just before I traveled, I would use my mount rear up skill, so I would be in mid rear up when it traveled. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, Ponton says basically, yeah, you're arguing with the monkey about directions. It's so cute. Okay, so here we go again. So here we go. We're looking over there, and the monkey's like, no, over there. And you look over there, and you're like, okay. And you both go, So, okay, I've got a milestone. I can actually go somewhere. I don't want to go to, like, Vernozal, so let me... Oh, I did anyway. I have my milestone set on a 5-minute thing, but, so this one will also be a 5-minute but I had that one I hadn't used, and it's a different one. Okay, so if we go back to, like, the Shire... Oops. Let's go back to the Shire with the monkey. So here we are. Looking, we're pointing over here. The monkey says no, over there. And we look over there, and we're like, okay. And off we go. So that's super cute. I love that one. And that milestone emote, just double checking, it's called the Jaunty milestone emote. Jaunty milestone style emote, sorry. And according to the LOTRO wiki, it looks like it is only available in the luxuriant coffers. So it's only available in the top tier of those. So just a heads up that if that's something you are wanting, that's so much fun, that you have to get the highest tier to get that. Okay, and then the last thing, I think, okay, let me double check. Oh, okay, we'll go ahead and consume this. So this is a new musical instrument called hand knells. And when you consume this, it gives you the passive skill hand knells use. So it's just like any other instrument where you're learning how to use that instrument. So I'm going to go ahead and consume that. So now I know how to use that. So if I go like into my skills and I go to my passive skills, it's under... I don't know, I think musical instruments or something, instrument proficiencies. So you can see these are all the instrument proficiencies I have learned, and now hand knells is listed as one of those, as well as like flute and harp and horn and all these other various ones. Okay. So now that's going on. So now I'm gonna maybe scoot out the way over here. And it took me a minute to figure this out, because I did go ahead and play with this over on Peregrine. Sorry. Mariatic. Okay, so now I also have one more box that I haven't opened yet, and that is the Jaunty Patron's Luxuriant Wardrobe Cosmetics. Okay, so what's going to come out of here is a whole bunch of stuff. So we have the Jaunty Weapon Aura, which it says your weapon glows in a mesmerizing jaunty style. What does that even mean, yo? Let's see. See if we can figure it out. Not what I meant to do. Again, the problem, my mouse is acting up. And so sometimes I go to click on something and it's like, oh, you want me to use this? I'm like, no, I really didn't. Really didn't. All right. Is it applying it to that? Or is that something else? Hang on a second. What have I got going on here? Yeah, let's pull this off just to make sure. I think I'm good. Oh, because I have this usually coming out of my wardrobe. All right. Okay, so now it's giving it more of a... Hang on, let's get rid of this. A blue, kind of like, kind of look to it. Okay, but so that's the jaunty style, apparently. Okay, groovy. And then the jaunty weapon aura, excuse me. We have a whole bunch of jaunty clothing. So let's look at it. So we've got a cloak. Oh, you know what? We're going to have to scooch. Let me... Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So we have a cloak. We have the garb. We have a jaunty hat. Pauldrons. Glove and wrist guard. Boots. Ceremonial jaunty sword. And then we have the hooded cloak version also. So here's the jaunty outfit. It definitely has kind of a piratey kind of style to it. On the one arm, we've got the bracer, and then the other arm is like ready to go with that sword. Got a little teal bit going on in there, but the rest of it is very much the reds and whites and grays as we were looking for, and with the browns that we were seeing on the mount, of course. And then the version with the hooded cloak looks like that. So if that's a style, oh, I do like the little bags on the belt. That's nice. Who doesn't like more storage? Come on. Okay. So yeah. So if this is a style that you are looking for, this coffer will do it for you. Okay. So in the simple coffer, you get the cloak and the hooded cloak and the sword. If you get the enhanced coffer, so the middle one, that adds in the weapon aura, an extra normal weapon aura, the hand knells trait, and the hand knells themselves, which are here, and I haven't put them on yet, but I'll go ahead and do that. So yeah, so in that cosmetic coffer, that's where you find the instrument itself. Okay, so now my character is holding the instrument, and let me go into music mode and just pick something for a second. We won't play too long. And actually, do I even have... Hang on. A lot of times I turn off player music when I'm streaming because I don't want to run into any sort of copyright problems. Okay. I do have it playing, so you might be able to hear this when it goes, but it's kind of... It's, well, you'll hear it. Let me see, probably. So it definitely seems like something that you might want to use in like maybe holiday music, like around Yule. It kind of has that, you know, xylophone or, you know, that kind of high-pitched bells. It's a very intense sound. If you try to play a whole song with it, it's pretty insane. I know Ponton, I saw your thing where he did, what was it? The violin that you pluck, and then that, and what song was it that you did? It turned out it had a really nice sound to it, but I will say a whole song of it was a bit much. So I think it's an instrument that's going to lend itself to some really creative ideas. It's also could fit, like, it's a glockenspiel, hand knells, bells, like it can fit in that kind of category. So it might be the sort of thing that when people are messing around with maybe putting it into like ABC files and such, Under the Sea. So Ponton put together, yeah, a version of that with the two people, I think, right? So doing the hand knells along with the trusty fiddle and playing Under the Sea, you know, so so it had that, you know, that same kind of sound, and it sounded really good. But it's a very, yeah, it's a strong sound. So it's definitely something that you might want to be like, um, I think you can change how loud a an instrument is in comparison to others in the um, in when you're making these files, right? I think so. So you can, it definitely sounds like it would go really well for a lot of the Yule songs, right? Um, so yeah, I'm really interested to see how this turns out as people start to play with it. But as it stands right now, the only way you can acquire this instrument is from this coffer, and it's only from the enhanced coffer, the middle one, and the luxuriant coffer, so the high one. So if this is an instrument that you are just like super excited to have, it's something that you'll want to make sure you get on that soon, because what does LOTRO say? It says available for a limited time, but do you have a date on that? They do not. Okay. So we don't know how long this these coffers are going to be available for. So just be prepared that if you want to get a hold of this, you probably want to not wait too terribly long because, yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. So Ponton. So there's been a lot of conversation about this in the LOTRO forums and on the LOTRO Discord because, like I said, it's a really strong sound, and it definitely puts itself in front of some other instruments and some other sounds you might hear, and so there's been some concern about that, about it, just taking over if you're when you're playing music, and so how to have it blend and really have like this sound, this nice vibrant sound that you want to have, coming from your music. Okay, so Ponton says the music dev, the person who was putting this together for LOTRO, replied and might look at the hand nails again and adjust the volume. Many players feel it's too loud, and Ponton agrees that it kind of is. So yeah, and so I suffer from headaches. I get like they're in the migraine family. They're cluster headaches. So I basically live with like a low grade headache all the time. I have one right now. So different things will pierce through to my brain. Um, and with the cluster headaches, it's generally kind of like just background noise, and then it kind of gets stronger and stronger. Like it won't do it in one day. It's not generally. I don't wake up with a super strong bad migraine style headache. When I get those, it's usually been precipitated by a series of days before it where it got gradually worse and worse and worse, and then I usually have it finally peaks, and I usually have a really bad headache day, and then I deal with that, and then it usually drops back off, and then I start the routine over again. So my ideal situation is that that gradual increase is that it's a really long tail. Right? So my ideal life is where, well, okay, my ideal life is not having any headaches at all. That'd be lovely. But it's where, I just have this low grade headache all the time, and it never gets any stronger. The hand nails is definitely one that the first 30 seconds, it's lovely, and I enjoyed listening to it. But once we get past that, it hurts. It starts to hurt my brain. So I just turn the music down on my keyboard with, in that sort of situation. Because that's not the only instrument that does that to me in the game. See, the bagpipe sometimes does that. The pibgorn definitely does that to me. I I think the horn. Yeah, so there's definitely instruments that I'm like, you know, this feels better, this feels worse. And so sadly, the hand nails is one of those that can really pierce through and make my brain hurt. So I personally will be using it very judiciously and carefully. I saw somebody did. He's a pirate. You know the dun 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 dun. With that, I think it was Bane who did that mini Bane, and it sounded great. So I usually do that like with the bagpipes, but I could switch it to the hand nails from time to time. So that could be kind of fun, you know. I think it's a fun instrument. I think it's really interesting, and I think it looks really pretty. I mean, here, let me put it back on my character. So, I mean, if you look at that, it's got like this beautiful look to it. I wonder, can I move this out of the way? Yeah, let's scooch this down. Um, so you can see, actually, do I even want, let me even move that down some more. Sorry, that's just kind of in my way. So you can see this, like the curvature of it and the, all the little, let me just get rid of all that. Isn't that really pretty? I think that's really, it's a pretty outfit or instrument. And I'm really curious to see like if they do other cosmetics of it. So like, for example, in the Midsummer, they have Midsummer versions of the instruments and they sound, supposedly sound the same as the equivalent named version of it. So I'd be curious to see if they end up doing, you know, I don't know, a midsummer version of this or something, because it's a very pretty instrument. It's lovely to look at. Absolutely, for sure. So, the young Dungeoneer says, "Good afternoon here from my humble home." Well, welcome. Oh, Ponton, that's interesting. Ponton says, "I have hearing loss in one ear, and also certain sounds get to me at times. It's rare what sounds, but whoever made the Pibgorn, my ears just do not like." Yes. The only song I play with the Pibgorn is the Pink Panther theme song. It works perfectly for that. Um, but I am very pleased when people do not use the Pibgorn. And when people do use it, I'm sad because it also has that same quality. So I understand. That's fascinating, Ponton. I did not know that. And I find that interesting because you seem to have a good ear for putting together music files. So that's fascinating to me that you have also hearing loss mixed in with that as well. Learn something new every day. Okay, so boom, 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 boom. Oh, so the young Dungeoneer is new to us. Everybody say hi. And says, "I've never played LOTRO, so I'm wondering, should I play a Hobbit?" I mean, I would say yes because I love Hobbits, but it really comes down to what do you like? LOTRO is one of those games where people might be like, "Hey, should I, you know, what is the end game request? What does everybody want for end game?" Or, you know, what's the strongest? Who does the most DPS and whatever like that. I and generally the response you're going to get from LOTRO players is none of that matters. First of all, LOTRO is about the journey, not the destination. This is not a game where everybody is rushing to the newest content, the highest level content, anything like that. This is a game where there are so many different things you can do. There's social things, there's questing things, there's side quests, there's dungeons, there's all these different things you can do in the game. So part of what LOTRO is about is you get in and you start questing, you start doing the main storyline. Because what they did, this was so clever, I think. When the game was being created, so you have the Lord of the Rings books, and you have your main characters, and they have their chapters and all of that. They, in LOTRO, took that idea, and you as a character are in a book. And so you are participating in your own epic story. And your epic storyline, you follow it through volumes and books and chapters as well. So you would begin with Epic Volume 1 Prologue, and so you have a quest that sends you here and you do these things. And then from there you go over here and you do this. And eventually that takes you to Bree, and you go to the Prancing Pony and you talk to Aragorn. And so you intersect with these known characters that you get from having read the books, from having read The Hobbit and having read Lord of the Rings. And from those, you do intersect with those characters. So, like, you go see Aragorn, and he's like, hey, I've got this really important thing I've got to take care of, which is him taking care of the hobbits, right? At the Prancing Pony and protecting them from the Nazgul that are coming. But he doesn't tell you all of that. He basically is like, hey, I've got this really important thing I've got to take care of, but there's this other problem. Can you, because you seem like the kind of person that might be able to handle this sort of thing, can you go over and take care of this problem for me? And then maybe we can connect back up. You can let me know what you found out, like what was going on, and that might help me on my journey and the thing that I'm working on. So you run into that kind of a situation throughout the game. So Young Dungeoneer says, Hobbits, since The Hobbit was my favorite book I read as a kid. I think you should play a Hobbit because I think you will enjoy the experience, because you will have that connection to playing as a Hobbit. And plus then, as you're playing through the game, you will be in the Shire and you'll be like, oh my gosh, there's Bag End. Oh my gosh, there's the party tree. Like, those will connect to you on a really personal level. So I think you should absolutely start off with a Hobbit and see how that works for you. You have options like Hobbit, Dwarf, Elf, and Race of Man. Those are the four original ones, and they've since expanded and added in. So you've got not just hobbits, but you also have river hobbits. But they kind of look a little bit more like Race of Man in the way they move and stuff. So I would recommend you start there. I would recommend you start with just like your standard Hobbit, because they start also in the Shire, whereas the river hobbits are kind of further away in the world. There's dwarves. There's also stout axe dwarves. They were imprisoned by Sauron, yes, over in the Darklands. So they have a whole different storyline going on, but eventually they find their way back to the Shire and everything here. There's elves. There's also now high elves, and they have a little bit different styling. They've got some a dance they can do. They've got some tumbling and stuff. They're fun. They're pretty. And then it was also a Race of Man. There's also now Bjornings, so you could be a bear, rar, and then you could change back and forth between a bear and a man. So, but I would absolutely say you should start with a Hobbit, because it sounds like that would really make you happy. And then to your question, is there a role-playing server? Yes. A little background, because this might be important for you to know in general anyway. When LOTRO started 18 years ago, that's why there's an 18 up there, there were servers in Europe and there were servers in the US. And this is back before things could connect as easily as they can nowadays. So there were two groups of people doing the coding for the game. And even though they were doing the same things in the game, they were doing it with slightly different stuff. And so basically, they used, unfortunately, the people who were working on it in Europe used some of the same ID numbers. So there's a conflict between, if you were to take a character from the EU servers and a character from the US servers and combine, there might be a conflict between this particular thing. It's, I have this hat, no, you have this hat, and then the whole thing falls apart and it doesn't know what to do. It's like adding antimatter and matter together. So those servers have to be kept separate. Now, after a while, those servers were physically located in the US, but the code is separate enough that you can only be on one or the other. And now the servers are separated again physically. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if you create a character on a US server, you're able to transfer to any of the other US servers, but you will not be able to leave that ecosystem. Same thing with the EU servers. If you create a character on an EU server, you can transfer to any of the other EU servers if you decide, if you change your mind and want to go to a different one. But you cannot switch and go to one of the US servers. Okay. In both of those two separate groups, there is a role-playing server in each one. I'm currently right now on Peregrine, which is the US side role-playing server. And then the EU side is Meriadoc. So you have your Mary and you have your Pippin, which is great. So those are your role-playing servers these days. The other ones, Grand, Sting, Glamdring, I forget what the fourth one is, Orcrist. Those are all not role-playing servers. Now, when I say role-playing server, it isn't required to role-play, but that's where you're going to find the role players, and that's where role playing is encouraged. And generally people who are playing on a role playing server, even if they're not role playing, they try to be mindful and respectful of those people who are. So I personally play almost exclusively over on Mary on the EU side, but that's because I live in Europe. And so the things that I want to do are during European evenings, and that matches up with when I'm awake and when people are doing events. If you are more in the America's time zone area, then you might want to go to Peregrine, because then you'll be able to go and enjoy events that are happening during that time. I personally love it over on Mary, though, because every Friday evening there's a gathering called Green Dragon Friday, where we go over to the Green Dragon and we hang out and we play music like what my character's doing right now, but actual music coming out. And you can dance in the game. There's emotes that are dances, and so we dance while people play music, and it's a wonderful event. And so I really love it. To your question, is it free? Yes, it's absolutely free to play. So much of the game is available to you without spending a single penny. So yes, you can absolutely just join the game, join a server, start playing. You're good to go. And you can play through so much of the game without having to buy anything. Oh, but that reminds me, there's a thing right now. Y'all, what's it called? What is it? That's it. Okay. When you start playing, take that code that says there, explore our world, all caps, just copy and paste it. And when you're in the game, down here, I know this is a lot, so if you don't remember, this video will be on YouTube. You can always come back into the chat and ask this again anyway. But down in the corner at the end of my little bars there, at the bottom very end, where those little barrels are, I've got a skin, so yours isn't going to look like this. Yours is going to look more blue and with bigger circles. But go into the LOTRO store, and then you will take that code, explore our world. You're going to copy it, and you're going to paste it into this spot right here. And then you click on the little present button, and it will add a gob ton of content to your account. And then it's yours forever. And this is content that you would have to pay for. But right now it's free. So it's good till November, so you got some time. But I definitely recommend you get that. And that way, in the future, if you want to go do this stuff that generally would be paid content, it's now you've already got it for free. So there you go. Okay, so Trininox says, I know it's subjective, but getting back into LOTRO, what's the best solo PvE class to start out? And Ponton had asked, you play what class you generally like playing if you've played other MMOs. And Trininox says, I've usually done stealthy or DPS, but I know those aren't inherently good at solo survivability. You know, they just redid Hunter and Burglar. So there's a lot of people who are still kind of like, you know, getting the groove on those and kind of poking at it and figuring out, you know, what new things can you do? What things can you no longer do? What's happened? What's changed? So Burglar might be solo survivable now, more so than it was previously. I don't play a burglar effectively. So I am not someone to be able to give you advice on how to use the burglar in its new style. Um, but you might enjoy it. Um, so let's see what else. Um, yeah, and solo PvE class. I mean, gosh, honestly, I think every class has the ability to have good survivability depending on how you use it, right? Okay, yeah. So XMar1 says, or XYMR1 says, Bjorning for sure never dies. I was actually gonna say Bjorning as well, because Bjorning is just a tank. So Bjorning actually has three. Most characters have, sorry, not characters, classes have three different traits, trees options you can follow. So you've generally got like your blue, which is, how would you define blue? I can't remember. Bowmaster is, oh, sorry, red is generally like your DPS, but like in the case of the hunter, iron, or sorry, glass cannon, like not so strong, but if they get, but that's only if they can actually get to you. So you probably taken them out before they get to you, that kind of thing. The blue line in hunter, for example, is still got some DPS, some good DPS, but you can also move around a lot more. So it's like, yeah, they got to catch you, but you're still shooting at them as you're kiting them. And then the yellow line has a lot more crowd control to it. So, like if I was playing a beginner hunter, I'd take yellow line. I'd be popping down some traps and some, and the other, the dummy. There's a dummy you can put out, and it takes the aggro, and so they're like attacking this dummy while you're on the side hitting them with your little teeny shooter that you start off with when you're a low level. So so different. That's the other thing too. I would say is different classes. You might shift from one style to another depending on what your level is, depending on what kind of conflict you're involved in, that sort of thing. Bjorning has their three different ones. They've got a tank, which I think is their blue. Oh, maybe tank is yellow. Anyway, they've got one that's a tank, and it's a really good tank. They've got one that's DPS, and they do a lot of good DPS. And then they've got one that's, I guess, crowd control. Bjornings are just good. They're just good at everything. If you like playing a Bjorning, though. And you know what? That's an actually quite good, great question, though. Is that a premium class still? I don't know. I I went ahead and subscribed, and so now I have, like, I just pay once a year. So I'm VIP through the whole year because it's cheaper to do it that way than to do it month to month. It's like almost half the price if you just do 1 year all at once. And I had gotten to the point where it's like, yeah, okay, I know I'm going to keep playing this game. Even if I take a month or two off or something at some point, I'm like, it's still worth it to me to just have the year subscription, don't even think about it. Once a year it hits, and I'm like, great, that was good, thanks. So VIP is worth it to me. But that means I don't know which classes. I don't know a lot of the stuff that's the the border between free to play and available to premium. I've also basically gone and gotten in the habit of every time something new comes out, I get it. Whether it's due to me and before my partner, who also is a streamer and plays LOTRO, so whether it's from us purchasing it, or from our wonderful support from SSG, giving it to us because of the streaming that we do here, which then allows me to show you all this cool stuff. So I've basically, I think I haven't missed yeah, I haven't missed an expansion in a couple years now. I started playing in like January of 2019. So since that time, since I would say 2020, maybe 2021, I haven't missed an expansion, which means I don't know what doesn't come in an expansion anymore. Because I have it all, so I don't know where the border is. The LOTRO wiki though is really good at parsing out, what all the different things are. So that might also be a place to look. It's just lotro-wiki.com. And I can pull that up again because I had that open before. Actually, I'm trying to think. Okay, so like, if I look up Bjorning, is there actually? I would like a page of. No, let me just go to the main page, maybe. Yeah. So this might be useful to those of you who are looking at some entry questions. Now, there's a lot of information on that wiki, so totally get it if you're like, whoa, overwhelmed. I'll just ask in a stream. Totally cool. I'm here every week. I'm here every Tuesday, and then usually B4 also streams right after me on Tuesdays. But he's actually away at a work thing right now, so he is unable to stream today. Sorry for those of you who are arriving hoping to see B4 today. He's not going to make it. But generally, we're here on Tuesdays in like a 5-hour block. So you guys are always welcome to come back and ask any questions. 3-6 months down the road, you're like, oh, what was I trying to figure out? Oh, hey, I got a question. Just come on back. No worries. You don't have to come every week if you got other things to do. But of course, I love seeing the regulars in the chat. That's always kind of fun as well. But yeah, yeah, if you have questions and stuff, definitely feel like you can come back and ask. I also cross post my stream here from Twitch. I post it over on YouTube as well. So over on my YouTube channel, which is Life Beyond the Shire, you can also take a look there. And let me see if I can. How do I get to just my channel? I'm on the studio page, and I'm like, no, I just want to see like the channel. There we go. Making things too complicated. All right, so there's my YouTube channel also. So you can always check there and see on-stream questions that I answered. So if you're like, oh yeah, I was listening, but I forgot what that was, you can just pop up the stream and check there also. So let's see. Oh yeah, Ponton, you were saying about how you've got good hearing in your other ear. And you use that for all your ABC work. Well, I got two, as far as I know, good ears, and I can't do music as well as you do. So it's a talent. So I'm glad you have that talent. Okay, so Ponton says, Burglar is my main class, and I've loved it for years to this day. It is the stealth class. As for DPS, Hunter or Champion is great for killing. Champions could pull a whole room of mobs and just nuke everything with AoE. Don't know if that's still the case. Also, strangely, minstrels are also good at AoE. B4 plays a minstrel, and I'm telling you, he'll just run through, grab everything, and go rawr, and then half of them fall down. And he goes rawr again, and the other half fall down. You can't argue with that. I was doing some solo questing, and the hunter was not providing me with the DPS that I was wanting. Like, it just had fallen kind of behind, which is one of the reasons why they did all this recent work, because they know that was the case. I'm going to open my Hobbit gift. But when I was doing these little solo quests, little solo dungeons, I would go and grab my minstrel or my Bjorning, because they were faster at getting through than my hunter. So, I mean, that's another option, is you could play a minstrel, and they have a thing where you kind of queue up some stuff and you get some things running, and then you can do some big bursts and stuff like that. I don't know how to do that. I just basically run in and I push the couple buttons that I know I'm supposed to push, and things fall down. And so it makes me happy. but I don't want to play a minstrel all the time. I'm really happy playing a hunter because I love the travel skills. So if you're not aware of that, hunters have this cool thing. Hi, baby. This is Kato walking across. Do you want to get back in my laps, or do you just want to wander? What you doing, babe? Anyway, hunters have this cool skill where they can guide their entire fellowship. So, for example, when you're questing with people, hi baby. Um, when you're out questing with people, you're going to make a fellowship where basically you group yourselves up, and boom, boom, boom. Where are my guide twos listed? I'll just travel skills. Okay, so as a hunter, I have acquired either through leveling or through doing very specific quests, like here, go find this thing in the dirt. All right, found the thing in the dirt, brought it back to the guy, and they're like, cool, now I will tell you how to travel here for free. That sort of thing. So I have accumulated all of these guide to skills so I can get to Mickle Delving, Thorns Hall, like basically every region in the game. So every map. So Erdluin, there's one for here. The Shire, there's one for there. Let's see. Yeah, for the Shire, there's one travel skill to here. The Yonder Shire, there's one travel skill to here that I got as a hunter. Avendim, there's one to there. North Downs, I can get over to Estelden and so forth. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. So as a hunter, I have keep doing that a travel skill that I can take my entire fellowship to the place with me, and I can do it for free, and I can do it over and over and over again. There's no, like, the cooldown on it is like 30 seconds or something. Oh, maybe 10 seconds. It's really, like, I can use it again right away. As opposed to your default travel skills, like your return to blah, 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 or a milestone skill to blah, 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 which you get one of those when you start the game. Once you get through the prologue, you get a milestone skill, which lets you travel to a milestone. So, for example, you might attach your skill to this specific milestone, and then every time you want to travel using your milestone skill, it'll bring you here. But by default, that cooldown is 1 hour. So that's not, it's useful, but limited usefulness when you're maybe questing in an area and you've got to keep going back to the same place. The milestone is an hour later. Well, I can run there faster than an hour. Anyway, so milestone skills by default are 1 hour. My guide to hunter skills take no time. So I love playing a hunter for that. For that, among other reasons. I really enjoy also playing a hunter. I like standing back and just pew pew. That's so much fun. Okay, so yeah, Ponton also says, yeah, Minstrel 2, that's my second main class that I love. Although at times, Mini can be squishy, they fun. They can be squishy. That's where B4 is really good at running in circles, and I just stand on the side and I shoot. So we make a great pair. One minstrel, one hunter, and we run around together. And so he runs in with his mini, gets all their attention. So their aggro is on him. And then I come in with my big old DPS hunter and boom, 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 and start shooting at things. And then eventually I get the aggro because I've done more DPS than his yelling at them. And then they'll come to me, but then by then he's yelled at them and we've knocked them down, and it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun together. Aw, Skagosi gave you a little heart, Kato. Yes, B4 is a tank, says Skagosi. No kidding. Like, it is really funny. We joke about him being a minstrel tank, but he kind of is, and it's really funny. Let's see. Ponton says, I always find it interesting that hunters get a guide to every region in the game except Central Gondor is the only place you do not get a guide. Is that true? Really? I didn't realize that. But let me think. For Gondor, we don't get one in this area? Don't I have like an Ost Angle bed though? Isn't that there? Here's the weird thing is I get to a point where, and this happens, oops, I didn't mean to close the map. So I know Eriador pretty well. Like I've covered this place pretty well. And then the next place you get into is Moria. Okay, I know Moria, like I got that one down pretty good. And Southern Mirkwood, I can generally, I get in there and I'm like, oh yeah, that's this place, that's this place. Okay, I remember, going through here. And then we get into Rohan and it's so big that I really lose perspective on where things are in relation to each other and who's from where and like all these things. It's so big, it's so massive that it's like it's overwhelming to me. I think another part of it is like with the Shire, I seem to have more like connection to the places in the Shire. So if I'm on a quest and I'm sent to Mickle Delving, I'm like, oh, okay, Mickle Delving's over here. Or maybe it's just because I've spent so much time in the Shire, because it's one of the entry level areas, and I just keep starting characters through there. So maybe it's just because I just spent so much more time in the Shire than I have in Rohan. Um, but because even in the Shire, you've got some quests that overlap, like the pies and the mail. So you are sent all over the place, but it does seem like those are quests that kind of introduce you to an area as well. Like, I don't often feel like I'm doing a quest for a Hobbit in, like, I don't know, Brockenborings, and they're sending me down to talk to, like, Farmer Maggot, and then they're sending me back towards Brockenborings, but maybe over to Scary. And, like, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of back and forthing within the Shire, or you go through a whole bunch of quests, but then you go over here for a little while and then you come back over here. Like it doesn't seem like it has that, whereas Rohan does, and the complexity of the interconnectedness of the stories in Rohan makes it harder for me to get my head around what's going on specifically with these people. Like in general, we get a theme over and over again, which is like bad stuff's happening, stuff going down, yo, and we need to gather people. And so then, it's different flavors of that. So like, hey, bad stuff's going on and we need to gather people. And sure, I'm on board with this. I just got to take care of this orc problem, and then we're going to pile up all our people and we'll go. Or, no way, I'm not going because the trip from here to there is more dangerous than just trenching ourselves in here and waiting it out. Or, I can't even think about that right now because, my husband, the Thane, is dead, and now I'm in charge of this place, and we got problems that we got to deal with here. I can't even think about your problems of you want me to go where? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's taking different versions of that and exploring that, and I think it's so cool. Also, I love riding on the war steed running around. But yeah, as Neon Trion says, Rohan is so big. I agree. It is overwhelming. And that's it for me. It's overwhelming. So like Fangorn Forest, I can remember basically that place. I know a bit more about that. And like Wildermore I got because it's all this frozen stuff. And so that sticks out as differently. But like the Norcrofts, the Sutcrofts, the Eastfold, Kingstead, Broadacres, Entwash Vale, Stone Deans, Westfold. I couldn't tell you one thing how it's different from the other, unfortunately. I know that's sad, right? Like I've been through here so many times. So then also a side effect of that is basically from Rohan going forward, basically. So Rohan, Gondor, all of that. I cannot remember where I am or the name of where I am. And so like I'll have a guide to skill to somewhere in here, and I'm like, I don't even know the name of this place. Like, how do I know my guide to skill? So before will be the one who's like, you're looking for Los Aranok or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Because the other thing is, I mean, I'm spoiled for choice, which is a lovely thing to be. But these are all of my milestones and return tos and guide to skills that I have. So, Guide to Harndirian. I'm like, Harndirian, where is that? You know what I mean? Like, I forget where these things are. Galtrev, I know. I know Galtrev. But then you've got Snowborn. I'm like, okay, Snowborn. Forlaw. Well, hold on. Forlaw is up in Wildermore. Okay. We've got Aldberg. I know somewhere that's somewhere on the plains. Helm's Deep. I know Helm's Deep. Dol Amroth. Familiar with Dol Amroth. I can figure that out. But what's Arnok? I can't even remember what Arnok is. Or, okay, Minas Tirith I know. After Battle Minas Tirith. That's hilarious. Osgiliath. Henneth Anun. Who's Henneth Anun again? Camp of the Host? What? Herondir? Oh my gosh. Like, I just don't have my teeth into what's going on to remember the names of the places that I have the skills to, which is crazy. How is that happening? I don't know. But anyway. Trininox says, great info. Thanks. You are welcome. And like I said, you're welcome here anytime. Most of the streamers on here, I think all of us, I don't know, I haven't actually, some of the streamers stream while I'm in bed, okay? So I haven't actually seen everybody. Except on, like Extra Life days where we do like a marathon and then we're all streaming at wackier times than our normal. Then a lot of times I get to see people and I'm like, oh, I love their stream. I should watch that more often. Oh, it's on at 2 a.m. Okay, no, that's why I don't. Things like that. But anyway, every streamer that I've seen here on the LOTRO channel is very helpful and is always willing and interested in answering questions, helping you out, that sort of thing. I have the perspective during my streams that I don't assume that anybody knows something unless I have some familiarity with that person and I know what they know. You know what I mean? So I assume always that there is a lowest common denominator on my stream, and that is somebody who does not know this information. So I try to approach it from a, newbies friendly perspective. So sometimes I maybe explain things more than you were looking for, but I want to make sure that you have all or more information than you're looking for and not less than what you're looking for. So hopefully you're getting what you want. Also, there is so much in LOTRO. There's so much knowledge about things you can do, places you can go, ways you can even adjust like the options of your screen. Like, this is the graphics options. Okay, reasonable. But sometimes people are like, man, it's so dark. I wish I could improve the contrast on the game. Well, yeah, you can. Things like that. Then there's like advanced graphics. You're like, oh man, my screen, it's taken so long, my computer just can't handle all these graphics. I wish there was something I could do about that. Well, yeah, you can. You've got like all these audio things. You're like, wow, this music's super loud, or man, I wish I could hear it better, or whatever. You've got a whole lot of options there. That's just the first 3 tabs, okay? So there is like a gob ton. Here's the UI settings. This goes on for days. There are a lot of options you have just in there, in the way you can set up how your game is presented to you. I don't know that there's any one person who knows every single thing that's in there, but as a group, we collectively know how to do the various things that you want to do. So that's where it's also nice to just put something into, the stream chat, put something into world chat, and people will be able to, jump in and give you a hand with things. So Neotran says, Hunters have been fun over the years. I have played Hunters once I capped my Warden because for me, both classes are really fun and soloable. Well, there you go. So there's another answer. Warden. Warden is a much more complex style to play. You've got combinations and things that you're doing, but doesn't mean you couldn't do it. It's be prepared. There's different levels of complexity, I would say, of classes, and the Warden is one of the more complex ones. Hunter is one of the easier ones. And Skagosi says, and there is a great great wiki. So absolutely. I was gonna try and remember weapon auras, which is a whole category now. Isn't that cool? I wanted to switch my weapon aura on this back to not that. I don't want the jaunty. It's not really jamming for what I want to do with this. Although, funny thing is, it's not showing up in the preview, so I have to look at it on my character. Okay, so what do I want? Was it Fateful Thunder that I had on there before? Let's take a look. Oh, maybe it's the other side. Yeah, it's the other side. What about Tidebreaker? I kind of like the Tidebreaker one because I think it drips, and that amuses me. Dead City. So if you're trying to make weapon auras work, here's my understanding of it, and y'all can like correct me if I'm missing something here. Oh, maybe is it the River Folk that's the one that drips? Oh yeah, that one cracks me up. I'm gonna use that one for now. That in your stuff, you go to the equipment page and you set it up so that you have a normal weapon aura next to your weapons. And then on the cosmetic outfit, that's where you put the weapon aura, assuming you have, character and wardrobe and stuff like that. I'm making that assumption here for those of us who do. That's where you put the aura, and then that's how it shows up on your character when you're wearing that outfit. Actually, you know what? I don't want the dripping one on this one. The dripping is good on my pan, but I think I want it hanging off of that. I'll just go with the shiny thing. Let's just make the shiny, a little sparkle. So, my name is Hannah says, I planning to make a minstrel. Is it good? I like the gameplay of minstrel. Then you should play a minstrel. Yes, we were just discussing how we like minstrel. It can be very good at, you can yell at things and they fall over. So if that's a goal of yours, to yell at things and make them fall over, which is often a goal in this game, then yeah, I think you should go ahead and enjoy minstrel. Give it a try. See how you like it. Okay, so one other thing I'm just going to mention is when you get those coffers, like we've been talking about off and on through the last hour or so, they show up for every single one of your characters. So all of that stuff we just opened, every one of my characters is going to get that hand nails. Every one of my characters is going to get this weapon aura. They're going to get the travel skill, the milestone emote that is, talking to the monkey. They're all going to get a monkey. So all of my characters are going to have that going forward, even a brand new character. So what I've discovered is, you may have noticed I have a bunch of boxes here that I have not dealt with. So I've got like the Loyal Knight wardrobe cosmetics. I've got the luxuriant wardrobe cosmetics of the sand and so forth. So every one of my characters is getting those. And so what I have started doing, now in this case I'll need to be careful because the hand nails are inside that box and I want those. But if you start a new character, I'm going to get all those cosmetics. So generally what I've been doing is, unless I'm really super excited about it because I've been having so many full wardrobe problems, is I basically toss it. I toss the wardrobe items and the cosmetic items, and I don't put them in my wardrobe because that is, space that is just so critical for me as somebody who really enjoys playing with the cosmetics in the game. So then if I'm ever in a situation where I'm like, oh man, I wish I had kept X, Y, or Z part of it. One, if there's another character of mine who I haven't gotten around to, dealing with that box, they'll have it. Or two, if all of my characters have tossed it away, I can just start a brand new character. They get all the stuff, get them through the intro, get them to the point where I can go and get into my wardrobe, and then I can just put the pieces in the wardrobe that I want. So, yeah. So don't feel like, because I felt like for a long time I had to keep everything. And I realized that every new character I make gets this a whole stack of purchases that I have made in the past. And so therefore my current characters don't have to hold everything. I can let stuff go. Because then at one point I was like, well, I'll have everybody get rid of it but one character, and one character will hold all of these cosmetic bundles just in case I decide I want to wear one of them. And I've decided that it's okay. It's okay to let it go. And then if I ever want it again, I can just start a new character and they'll have it. So, yeah. So I think we've covered pretty much everything I wanted to with that coffer. I wanted to make sure, you know, if you guys are like really curious, what does it look like and what do you get with it and all that stuff. I wanted to make sure that you know, had a visual on it. So a lot of reds and stuff. Oh, you know what? Before I leave, I want to remember, what was my mount? Y'all, I got to go back to the beginning of the stream. It wasn't the sands, was it? Nope, it was not the sand one. It was a different one. All right. Who was here earlier and remember which mount I was using? Wasn't the Farmer's Fair steed. Although, you know what, I'm probably going to make a new outfit in the next month or so. But still, you know. Wasn't the Rakish Charmer? It was one that came out of a bundle, so that's why I'm like, all right, who was it? I'm feeling like Beach or something like that. Sandstriker? Nope. Shimmering. This is one of my favorite ones though too. Let me just hop on this one real quick. This is the steed of the Shimmering Breeze. I love this one because it's got like all these flowers and stuff that it's carrying around on the back. It's so cute. It's got all this fun stuff. I love that one. When I have a premium house, I will often end up with one of those that I put in the yard. Golly, now I don't remember. Oh, you know, this is another one of my favorites. Oh, fine, let me get off this one. Is the Whimsical Steed. Kind of for similar reasons. I love that it's got all these different things on the sides. Like you've got instruments hanging off there and some, you know, flowers and some carrots and stuff. But then you've got a little kitty cat in a basket. Who doesn't love a kitty cat in a basket riding on the side with you? All right, I guess I'll use the Whimsical Steed for now because I can't remember what the other one was. It wasn't the Winged Herald pony, but gosh, that one's so pretty. I like that one with all of its kind of a minty lighter green going on. That one's fun. So, okay, anyway, so I think I'm going to wrap it up here. So if you have any last minute things you want to talk about, now is your chance to put it in the chat. I'm going to send myself back to the neighborhood. Oh, looks like I still have this one on. I forgot about that. All right, well, we'll just leave that milestone emote on because that one's too cute. Off we go. All right, well, I should be here next Tuesday. Just a reminder, B4 is not going to be here today because he's got some work stuff. So he will not be attending stream today, but he should be back next Tuesday. I don't think there's any conflict with that. You know what I didn't do is I didn't pick up my ingredient crates, so let's grab that action. Get me some free universal ingredient packs. Who doesn't love that? So, all right. Well, have a great rest of your day, everybody. I will be back next Tuesday as usual. And let's see. I don't think we're not into festival time yet. So we're just kind of chilling out between. So we'll figure out what we're doing next week and we'll have some fun running around out here in LOTRO. So have a great rest of your week. Remember to stay connected to that Hobbit side of your heart and take care of each other and take care of yourself. Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.